Showtime! We are live for another wonderful Sunday afternoon, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are going to do a write a book with me from concept to conception. So let's get into it. As always, we like to wait a second or two for a few people to jump in.
I didn't expect the farmer's dog.
But before we get into the deep of it, let's go over it. I'm Thomas J. Bellezza. This is The Right Mindset, and every Saturday and Sunday we do a live video. Saturdays, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do educational on craft, and sometimes we touch a little bit on the business. But mostly, if not always, we are playing with the brilliance of craft, writing, and the process of getting your book written. On Sundays, we do the Book With Me series, where I basically write a book in real time, and we walk through the process together. Now, with that said, on the screen, boom, 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 boom. You have to remember that we've been doing this for quite some time. This is week 31. We are on the 31st week of writing a book together, whereas we always start off with brainstorming, then we did character arcs, and then, of course, we did some short-form outlining, and eventually we did the extended draft. I would recommend going back to the series, which you can watch with a link and in the description. And it'll show you how we did all those things. It'll show you how we broke down a character's arc before even writing page 1, word 1. And then we took those arcs and we put them into a short form outline, which is very basic and generic, broad and general. And then we did some extended outlines. Now we're on the zero draft. We're basically taking what we did in the extended draft, extended outline, and starting to write out zero drafts. And believe it or not, we are on chapter 14. So I'm pretty excited about that, actually. Before we get into that, though, I want to see... All right, let's see. There's going to be 1, 2, 3... 3 chapters, 3 sections. Hey, Flowers, what's up? Welcome to the show. Everyone who's getting here, hello, hello, hello. I'm just setting up some number counts. We are seeing that chapter 14 is going to have 3 particular scenes. Okay, let's do the math. Let's see. This is going to be from the perspective of the other character. So it's 161. 161. This is going to be the love interest. All right. Excellent. And by the way, I do have a poll in the... I have a fun poll this week. Feel free to jump on that, and we'll talk about that at the end of the hour. All right. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Boop. Where... Oh, it's the wrong way. Where, oh, where? And then this is, they're running away. They're running away. 100. Thomas, what are you doing? Well, I like to keep track of my word count through each of the steps. And what this allows me to do is start regulating what I'm writing, how I'm writing, chapters, etc., etc., etc. Because sometimes, and not always, but sometimes, you want to make sure that, you're not overdoing it or underdoing it, as one might say. Hello, Emma. Why the comments aren't showing up is interesting to me. What's going on? Oh, there we go. They're showing up now. Hey, hey. All right, all right. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. So we're going to be on the zero draft, so I'm going to... what have I stumbled on? Emma, well, if you watch the series, you know that we keep track. I'm getting anxiety. Me too. Me too. What you're seeing here is what I call my numbers game. This is how I keep track of each step of the way. So what are my notes? What are my zero drafts? First, second, third, and fourth draft word counts, and these word counts help me understand how big or how small a chapter is getting. Should I break a chapter up, etc., etc. So it lets me kind of like look into it. Bonjour, Emma. It is anxiety-inducing. I understand that. All right, let's get into it. We're on 14. Let's see. What is the second thing? This is oh, they're running. Okay. The run. Okay. And then this one is they get pushed through a gate. They don't know where to go. The guards are outside. Okay. The trap. All right. Boop. I'm doing numbers too, but not properly, as the 0 has been missed out. Hey, it happens. You know, it is a process that you have to get used to, and you have to really kind of choose to make it what it is. So, you know, over time, this became a habit to me, and not necessarily like, you know, oh, I gotta make sure I do that. Like, I used to forget to do it. I didn't always do it. But the other thing that helps me with this is because I get hired to ghostwrite, or I get hired to write a project just in general. They go, you know, if they say I need 90,000 words, I know how long that's going to take me to write, just because I keep track of my numbers all the time. If it's nonfiction, I've talked to actually Emma about this. If it's nonfiction, I can fly through it. You know, 3,000 words a day is really not that big of a deal. If it's more epic fantasy, 1,500 I could get to with not a problem. You know what I'm saying? It's about it's about understanding your movement and your strengths and weaknesses through those numbers. But I do use the numbers primarily at this part of my stage of my career to check the pace of the chapters. Is the chapter getting too thick? Is a scene getting too thick? Is a scene too small? Is a chapter too small? Can I break it up? You know, those are things that are important to help control the pace through chapters and scenes. That isn't even, we're not even up to prose yet. But it's nice to, while doing the 0 draft, and as you can see, these aren't prose. These are just general thoughts and broad ideas. So even in this stage, if you can start seeing that something feels like it might be a little bit concentrated and it should be its own breathing room, that's what this is helping me out. So I'm basically doing a lot of foundational work before I get to the long form prose, and it's definitely helped me over the years. I'm doing numbers too. Oh, I'm working on my story in a writing app called Butterdocs. I love Butterdocs. Hi, Hannah. All right, let's do it. So one of the things I wanted to do was I wanted to actually change things up in chapter 14. If anyone doesn't know, I am giving myself some rules here, okay? So if you're new to this, if this is the first video in the series you're watching, basically what I'm doing is I'm using the 27 plot point outline, and I'm trying to give myself some rules and guidelines. However, we must always remember that we're allowed to break, adjust, and alter and assimilate what we need to into the process, and it's the narrative doesn't control us, we control the narrative. So if a chapter feels like it needs to break up, it needs to break up. But my goal is to make one chapter per plot point. I've already, for 2 chapters, had to break them up into 2 chapters, but we're trying. So with that said, chapter 14 should technically be what I would like to call the midpoint conflict, which is part of Act 2, Section 5, which is the crisis of the New World. If anyone is following the 27 plot point outline, or it's something you're trying to understand, you get to see what we're doing here. We're trying to make okay. All right. But I wanted to start this chapter off in the love interest's POV. And it's just something I like to do in my books, where like I'll make a chapter slightly different than what we've been experiencing, just to kind of switch it up. But I don't do it multiple I try to do it, you know, once in a blue moon. So I left this note here for last time, if anyone didn't see. This note is basically telling me to put this in third person limited, whereas the majority of the book is going to be first person through Laura Olivia. But now we're going to try, and not that I'm writing prose right now, so that's not really important, but this is a good note to have. This is all going to be from, or at least this first scene. This first scene is going to be all from the love interest. However, I might make the whole book, the whole chapter from their experience, so we could sort of get a little deeper into them, even though it's not first person. But we, as the reader, can get to know this character a little bit, understand where their stance is with the main protagonist, and then we sort of get a viewpoint of how they look at the protagonist, Laura, and we're seeing Laura from outside her head, so that might be interesting too. What be going on with your screen? I gone all Mr. Magoo, or the whiskey is stronger than usual. Is it getting a little blurry? Did it get blurry? It could just be on my test screen, it's showing pretty good. It's pretty fair. However, I am not wearing glasses, so maybe that's an issue. Let's see. Sometimes it does that, you know, the internet. The internet's a terrible, terrible creature. What do we got here? Oh, so last Thursday I was walking to my bus stop, as one would do. My foot wouldn't lift up, so I tripped and fell on the side. Now I have a big Oh, I'm so sorry that happened to you, Hannah Hart. He got out of his truck and helped you up. Now that's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's nice that that happens. It's good that somebody helped you. It's clear on your TV. Excellent. Maybe try doing if you're on your computer, hit F5 to do a refresh to the browser. It'll take you out and bring you right back in without having to do anything. That might do it. Oh, no, wait. I know what it could be. On YouTube, if you click the settings option, the little, it's like a little gear on the video. You click that, and then you go to quality, and it'll be on audio. But what you can do is you could automatically set it to be 1080 or 720. I like to make it 720 just so it runs smoothly. But I am recording this in 1080, so remember you can change that. So let me know if that helped you. That is something to keep in mind. All right? Okay, where are we? Does anything good ever happen to you, Hannah? Oh. Hi, Afghani. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's not blurry on my iPad. It's just fine. Yeah, I think if we could go, what I would do is put the mouse over the video, and you'll see the little gear icon. Click the gear icon, and you'll see quality, the option for quality, and then just select that, and it'll change it. Because right now it might be on 360 or 240. Sometimes it just kind of for speed reasons, the internet will slow down or not slow. It'll lower the quality of the video. So just double check that. But let's get back into it. All right, let's keep going. We're gonna start working on this. Okay, the truth of the lie is revealed. All right. Okay, the escape. Let's get rid of that. Boo, 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 boo. Just want to get this like this. All right, let's start adding some fun here. A mixture of lemon and nose people with. Okay. All right. Arrives in this to the prison, walking with two other guards. They, or I should say, prison arrived to the guards and get off the ship. They walk. The love interest walks with two other guards and reach a door. The guards get there until one of them scans their card, letting all three of them in. They get to the guard room, and one guard says to the love interest, "You have 20 minutes." All right. 7:40. That worked lovely. You're welcome. Yeah, it happens. Sometimes I'll be watching too, and I'm like, what is going on here? And then it's if you have it on audio, then it basically does it to keep your speed up. Let me get some sip going. I have a different soda today because I'm out of soda, and I just want you to know, regular Pepsi not doing it for me. All right. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to set up that this love interest has some connections at the prison. So what that means is I'm going to have to leave a note for myself here. Okay? All right. Let's see. Go back and seed their connection. Oh, seed the love interests connection with the... Is it penal system? Penal system. Yeah, penal system. With the penal system. and that maybe someone in their family is a guard on for XYZ company. Okay. Now, why am I doing this? Because remember, as you're working on your outline, you might come into positions where you start developing story ideas that might be interesting or fun to kind of play with. And I think the fact that the love interest actually knows somebody there and is sneaking in and the guards are helping them, I think that's kind of funny. But it feels like it's going to be convenient. But as we know, it doesn't work out for their favor because they're saying we have 20 minutes. You have 20 minutes there, buddy. Right? So that 20 minutes is the timer has been set, right? The bomb has been set. So on top of that creating urgency and tension, we know because we work through the short form and the extended, they are going to not be able to get out of the situation. However, you still have to earn these moments. So as you're working on your outline, and this is the genius of outlining, is that it's not beholden to anything that you thought of. You can adjust it and change it. And in this situation, I know that I have to go back to the earlier chapters anytime this gentleman is on the page, and I have to adjust it to seed in this kind of information, even if it's 1 or 2 times where it happens. Which, I'm going to leave a note here. Oh, look, yeah. I'm going to leave a note saying that let the seed be about the relationship. And when the planet is named where they can land, have the love interest say that his connection to the penal system is more adjacent and not really adjacent to after being caught than it is being caught. All right, something like that. Okay. How do we do that? I'm just working out ideas. Obviously, if I have to, I'll change it. Okay. So remember, the goal is to always allow, you gotta control the narrative, but you want to play with the narrative and see where it goes. You don't want to be controlled by it, though. If you said this was going to happen and it feels like you want to do this, it's okay to try those things. Because again, we're not writing 3,000, 4,000, 10,000, or even 30,000 words and then going back and rereading it and taking notes and editing it. We're just worrying about broad general. I mean, right now we're what are we at? 500 words. That's like nothing, And the bullet point also helps me, because of the dyslexia and everything, to really be able to focus in on the notes, so I could just jump in and out without having to really try to put together everything. I could just go, oh, okay, this happened, this beat happens, so forth and so forth. All right. So I could get rid of this line because that's what we're setting up. Okay. All right. Tunnel system and hallways leading to the main cell area. And the love interest basically says that he owes her. She's a good girl outside her. All right. Hello. Hey, what's up? What's up? Hello, Richard. Fascinating historical facts. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. What are the historical facts that were fascinating? Hello, everyone. What's up, JK? The best ideas come to me in the shower. That's what she said. Hello to my bearded buttercup. Hello there, Nicole. Excellente. Welcome to the party. Okay. The ideas from my dreams seem brilliant at night, but when I wake up, I realize it was stupid. Afghani, I would say real quick as I pop it up, why don't you experience those though? Why don't you play with the ideas? And even stupid ideas can become great ideas. In fact, when I was in the writing rooms, all right, and when we were working on screenplays or even television ideas, we would make jokes to basically get through a downtrod, like where we're just like, oh, it's been like 5 hours. And we just start making jokes. And those jokes turned into really interesting realities that molded the screenplay. So you never know. So have some fun with it. Let yourself play around. That's what she said. Oh, he did it. Of course I did. All right. The best ideas come to me while reading other books and movies. Oh yeah, that's oh, and traveling too. Yes. Yeah, especially when something inspires you emotionally and you're just like, "Oh, I want to play with this kind of feeling or this idea." And remember, there's only really 7 stories you could tell. So really it's how we tell them through the characters that make it truly our own, All right, they got they make it to okay, this becomes a new beat. So if you're wondering what I'm doing here is the first bullet point usually sets up the scene, and then the second bullet point is sort of like playing within that scene. Like we're still in one long movement. If I end up going in, it just means that I'm playing with the bullet point above it, and it just means I go a little deeper. So the 7 dirty words you can't say, and all I can think of is okay. All right. Okay. The love interest tells her to get dressed, tossing her a guard outfit. Okay. They have to hurry up. All right. By the way, if you have any questions about what I am doing, how I'm doing it, the choices I'm making, whatever it is, even if you have questions about your own writing, please feel free to ask. Remember, I am a developmental editor and a writing teacher, so obviously it's like getting free advice. That's the fun of this live too. Is don't worry about distracting me. Really, I'm here for you guys, and it's ultimately the lives are so I can have some fun and give you all a platform and outlet to sort of hone and work on your craft. I'm outlining my chapters with my 2 main characters, Sunheart and Sunlight, who are twin sisters. Sunheart starts hearing mysterious whispers of guilt, while Sunlight starts hearing voices of lies. I like it. Keep it going, Hannah. Keep that going. Richard, don't make me have to use a stick to pop your head with it. But I didn't say any of the 7 words. Listen, you were thinking it. We know, Richard. We know. All right. Use the potential. Okay. Oh, look, they already did that. So this we can delete this because we just experienced that. Now, you wouldn't. He sure did imply it. But we love Richard. I mean, come on. He's a holiday. Celebrate. I did. I love it, Richard. I love it, Richard. My best ideas are still playing hide and seek. I'll say this much. If you could, and I recommend it, search for them. Play with the ideas. Because ideas that may not feel like great ideas or your best ideas will find their way to you the more you practice and dive into experimental seeding or line connecting or threads. You should just be like, here's the idea I have. I don't think it's my best idea, but here's an idea. And then just break it. Move it around, contort it, do whatever you can, and just try weird, crazy stuff. Go as far as you can, and then you can reel it back. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's an exercise that is important to practice. Is really the brainstorming element. So, What we got here? Vacation for our American friends. Boom. Boom. Holiday you did, and for that I'll have to use the bopping. I like being bopped occasionally. Richard! Is that like a metal thing? Richard! All right. Let's not get into what happens to the bopping stick. Joanne. Okay. Everybody, Emma. Richard has misbehaved. He is a misbehavior. Nicole. Everybody's here. I think Nicole left, though. Nicole, did you leave? You ran away already. So I've been writing each chapter with their names as titles. Excellent. That's always good. Chapter 1, Sun Heart's Guilty of Burdens. And Chapter 2, Sunlight's Lie of Having It All Together. Excellent, Hannah Hart. It's always good to have fun with that. Holiday you erg. Richard does that to us. See, it makes us pirates. Tell me something I don't know. What is the circumference? Okay. They walk through a checkpoint. Okay, let's get back up. They make it to Laura Olivia in her cell. She is sleeping. And they unlock the cell. Wake her up. Oh, wait. She is sleeping. Okay. Boop, boop. Wake her up. Wake her up. What we got here? Oh, my mother's doing very good. That's amazing, Hannah Hart. You know, we always love to hear that. We always love to hear that. And you, don't be encouraging him. Who, me? Never. We're here to have fun, is all I'm saying. Right, Afghani? Let's see. Oh, we got some top fans. Let's see who's doing it. We got 8 people in the we got more than 8 people commenting. We got M. M is number 1. M is killing it. Next with Hannah, then Emma. Emma in 3rd place. Rich is on the 4th. JK is up there. L. What's going on, L? You're in 6th. And Afghani, poor Afghani, number 7. But Nicole's number 8. Look at that. Nicole's number 1 in my heart, though. Let's just be honest, okay? She's my bestie, okay? All right. What was that? You never know. It's a thing, you know, and you have the top fans and thing. I'm also making a synopsis for each channel. And well, you should. I recommend it. Do we win a prize? Yes. Speaking of prizes, by the way, YouTube sent me something. This is my first physical gift from the YouTube headquarters. Does anyone want to see what it is? Do you want to see what the YouTube has sent me? I don't know. Should we check it out? How should we look at it? I don't know. You probably don't want to see what it is. Don't worry about it. We don't have to. Oh, open it? You want me to open it? All right. Okay. This is what they sent me. So let's do it. Here it goes. They sent me a little like, hey, action. Isn't this cute? They sent me a little like, woo, look at that. Boop, boop. I really like it. You can write on it. You can change it. This is video number 31. I had a lot of fun opening this up. I didn't know what it was going to be. And then I saw it and I was like, oh, yeah. I feel like a YouTuber now. Before I was like, oh, I'm monetized, you know, and it took 3 years, a hard 3 years, right? But then I got this, and I was like, you know what? Let's let's see. We'll go through. You might have to moderate. Yeah, I do have to moderate the chat when. Yeah. I definitely do. Top fans, only fans. We're all fans. That's the thing. So here it is. So we got to open it up. It feels legit now. It does, Afghani. I feel like you know, the hard work is now paying off. Where not only do I have a wonderful community in all of you, but you know, like YouTube gave me a little loving. So I know the likes, right? You get the unboxing. I was like, what is this? Why is it going on? You clapperboard. Yeah, it is fabulous flowers. Fabulous. It is pretty cool. And the occasion Afghani, just so you know, apparently you get partner perks, whatever they call it. And they gave me a free movie ticket and some food. Like I could go to like a Chipotle or something like that. So once you're in the partner program, they start allowing you perks. And one of the perks was to celebrate being a partner. And they sent that as a gift of being a partner. It's October 8th. Well, is it? No, it's October 10th. What are you talking about? Today is no. Oh, no, it's August 10th. Oh, Richard, are you from England? Are you from England? In America, in the States, it goes a month and then day and then year. But I think in Britain it goes year. I don't know. Actually, I don't know. But it says, this definitely says August. It's 8/10. That's August. All right. What else good? I love boxing. For your mind. No, I just got it because I am a partner and I've been a partner and I've been consistently doing it. So like they just sort of like here you're a partner, so you can get a reward for being in it and keeping it going. Thank you, JK. I appreciate it. The box was open. Boom, 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 boom. I love perks. I love perks too. I'm a fan of the perks. Free movie ticket for which movie? So they just give you a ticket and then you could use it for any movie. So that was, as M says, coolio, bro. So, and the food thing though was very specific Chipotle. I am indeed British. So there you go. It's day, month, year. Day, month, year. Day. Oh, that's why. Okay. Yeah, for us, it's month, day, year. We are very backwards here, except for the way we drive cars. Holiday, I miss the UK. It's not so good over here at the moment, JK. Oof, oof. Oh, what's this? Which movie would you like to see? Well, before I got the free ticket, I had already seen the Fantastic Four, and there was another movie I saw. Oh, Superman. But I think I'm going to go see the Naked Gun film just to have some fun, get some laughs in. And, oh yeah, see, Richard's just saying it. Favorite film this year was Naked Gun. So I want to, I want to go there and say, bow, it's the sound of the police. I want to get out there and check that out. That was constant chuckling with some good laughs. I hope so. Don't give anything away, even though it's comedy. Technically, plot is the second to. They're probably not even thinking about plot, but I can't wait for the jokes. I love the old airplane movies and the old, Naked Gun movies. Thank you, JK. I think I will. I think tomorrow or Tuesday I'm going. Whoop whoop! It's the sound. Yeah, there's whoop whoop! It's the sound of the police. I want to go see Wicked for Good this November. Oh yeah. That's the part 2, right? No spoilers. No spoilers, I promise. All right, let's get back to it. We came here for a reason, is to write some bookage. So let's see if we get through chapter 14. Though I'm having a lot of fun with I got to share that little gift, and the moon is I can get to the moon now. You know what I'm saying? Anything is possible. So we're gonna keep this channel going. We're gonna keep blowing the channel up, and we're gonna keep sharing and loving and commenting and subscribing and doing everything we gotta do. Because honestly, it's the strength of the community that makes the channel what it is. Because I could only do so much on my part. I could post what I can. I could talk. I could help. I could do whatever I want. But at the end of the day, Metallica makes money because their community supports them, right? So imagine they're playing some local bar and no one knows who they are. They wouldn't have become Metallica. So the fans, the friends, the family, the people that love and support and really add value to the community is the only reason anybody can keep doing what they're doing to help give back to that community. And so everyone dies. I hear the bad guy loses. That's deep. That's what she said. All right. Afghani. I love Afghani. Freakier Friday just came out last Friday. I can't see that because I didn't see the first 3. All right. Let's see. They make it to Laura's cell. The love interest in the car. She's shocked when they wake up. And then tells her to get dressed. Okay. So basically, if anyone's seeing this for the first time, if anyone really cares, I want to see that movie. It has some good actresses in it. Basically what I'm doing is I'm trying to quote unquote beat out the movement of the chapter. So basically this sets it up, and then like we go a little deeper. And so when I get to the prose part of it, when I start getting to the long form prose and the writing, I basically have to write to this moment, in this moment, and away from this moment. Then I got to write to this moment, in this moment, away from this moment. I got to keep doing that for each beat that I create. So that's why I'm writing more general, broad ideas. So you don't have to really worry about when you're outlining. It's not really worrying about like what is it going to look like. You know, what are the pretty words going to look like? You know, if you want a really good underrated sci-fi anon, you know, I haven't heard about that one. I'll have to look that up. I also know everybody wants to see this Alien Earth show, and I'm going to check it out. But I was very surprised by The Naked Gun, one of the few films that does not star Pedro Pascal. Don't they have that in their marketing where they go, Pedro Pascal's not in this movie? I do as well. He has the same people like the mother and daughter in it. The mother and daughter. All right. Okay, Okay, they walk through the checkpoint and they ask for the code and badge. The guard with them. And over the badge. And it's good. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to give a false sense of success. You know, everything is working out in the setup. Because remember, every chapter has a beginning, a middle, and end, right? So this whole opening scene is setting up the potential. So we set up that they're there. We set up how they got there. We set up that they got to Laura Olivia's cell. We set up that they got her out. Everything looks good. So now the middle of the scene, or the conflict of the chapter, whatever, is going to be where things start going a little awry, and it just gets worse and worse and worse and worse. So it's okay if the beginning of chapters, or even the beginning of acts, or whatever the case is with your narratives, feel like things are working out for them. Just remember the rule of thumb when it comes to the narrative. The middle, whether it's a scene, a chapter, or the full narrative itself, the middle is the conflict. You must toss a problem in there, whether it's emotional, which is internal, if it's physical, whether it's spiritual or mental, whatever the case may be, the middle of every scene, chapter, narrative, or even an arc must have some sort of conflict. And by the way, if you have a chapter that has 2 or 3 scenes in it because of chapter breaks, right, hard chapter breaks or soft chapter breaks, the scenes themselves must have a beginning, middle, and end, which means the middle of that scene must have a conflict. The reason we do that is because that's what makes it engaging. That's what keeps the reader going, because they want to see the characters be built up through context, the setup, and then they want to see that being challenged, and then they want to watch how the characters persist through that challenge, how they fail and succeed, their trials and tribulations, right? Will they, won't they? Okay, it's that idea. And then if they do that, then we want to move on to the next one, and so forth and so forth and so forth. But conflict doesn't always have to be world ending. It could be something more intimate. So remember that as well when you're working on your scenes, chapters, or long form narrative in general. All right. We don't need this anymore. All right. Okay, all right. Boop. Okay. I'm going to go back and adjust something here. So the love engine, they arrive at 2 guards and reach the door. The guard gets there, and one of them goes to scan his card, but his friend says he's got it. All right. So then the guards get there, and one of them scans their card, letting all 3 of them in. So what I'm doing there is I'm setting up that the love interest has the card to swipe, okay, and part of the garb, the ruse. But instead of letting them scan, I could even do this. The love interest takes a moment, nervous and unsure if the card will work. All right. Boop. Love interest. Okay. Goes to scan it. Okay. So, I just finished PP24. Yayness! Everybody give it up for Flowers. She has officially finished the convergence and power within that leads to the final battle. She has just as per her success, woohoo! She has completed section 8 in her third act. That means she has 3 more plot points to go. 25, 26, 27. I'm very excited for you. I have the power. Yeah, come on, Shira. Okay, let's do this. I'm really proud of you. You're getting through it. That's great. All right, the love interest takes a moment. Okay, nervous and all right. So I'm setting this up so again, this is me seeding the card later that we know he has a card, but he hasn't tried the card yet. Okay, but I'm gonna do this. So the guard with them hands over the badge. Hands over their badge first. And it's good. All right. The love interest hands their badge over. Okay. Then I'm going to go a little deeper into that moment. Okay. So I'm going to say it doesn't work at first. You know, classic, you know, it doesn't work at first. The guard scans it again after wiping it, and it works. Okay. All right. Laura Olivia walks up. The guard says he's not seen her here before. The other guard says she just transferred in the other day. Oh, just transferred in tonight. Okay. The guard at the gate scans her card. Scans Laura's. What's going on? Laura's card. And the person attached to the number looks nothing like her. Whoop. And the guard knows this person. Oh, yeah. And the guard knows the person from the file personally. Okay. All right, we got some. Oh, we got some stuff. What do we got? Can you explain sometime that the 20? Can you explain the 27 plot point? Yeah, absolutely. I could do it at the end of the hour. I could talk about it a little bit and sort of go into it. But remember, I also have a whole playlist dedicated to it. So the whole outlining playlist that I have is not only just me explaining what the 27 plot point outline is, but I go deeper into it. I go into the sections, and then I go into the plot points themselves. So there is probably, I don't know, maybe like 30 hours worth of something like that. But at the end of the hour, especially if everyone wants me to, I could just go over the 27 plot point real quick. It's fairly straightforward. It's just understanding like the rules of each plot point that'll sort of go a little deeper than that. But I can absolutely do that, yes. Gonna have to dip. Internet don't want to play today. I'll catch up later tonight when the Thank you though, M, for being here. You know that I appreciate the love and support that you give, and you know that fantastic that you're a member, and I hope I can keep delivering, and I really appreciate your time. Have fun. Sorry about your internet out there. I'm adding a question at the end of each chapter as well. Hey, sometimes you need to add that question, like what's your favorite color? Flowers. But seriously, that's good. It makes people think. Video, wait. Yeah, myriad of videos do it. They are everywhere. That's really how my channel blew up, actually, is from that video. Like the outlining video by the way, that video, the 27 plot point out, like the ultimate guide to to outlining the 27 plot point outline, that was my first video ever. And that video just went right. But it took a second because like the first 3 months nothing happened, but then out of nowhere just and then like all my other videos they sit at like 50 to like 150 views, and I'm just like, what am I doing wrong? But I did speak with a couple other YouTubers and a couple other people that are sort of like marketers, and they're like, you got to change up your thumbnails a little bit, and maybe your titles a little bit. So if you've noticed, I kind of been like playing around with thumbnails and titles. I'm trying to stay positive. I like when I see like, this is why your first chapter sucks, or this is why people can't finish your book. Like, I understand the fear factor of that and how it draws attention, but I'm still trying to lean towards more positive titles. So that's what's making it a little harder for me. But again, it's not about what we can't do, it's how we figure out how to do it, because it's all about the entrepreneurial brain, finding solutions by thinking outside the box in a proactive way. Oh, yeah, like Flower says, it was one of the first ones I spotted. It was like, boom. It was like dawn breaking. Oh, God. I really appreciate that. Thank you, Flowers. That was really lovely. Thank you for that. Cindy, I hear she has great jeans, but I wear shorts. All right. She's. I also hear she's the best actress in Utopia, but I haven't seen it. All right. They have to fight the guard and run off. Okay. The guard hits the alarm button. Actually, you know what? Let's make it a little bit more. Let's make it a little bit softer and then grow it from there. The guard says that the information doesn't match them. The guard says that. Oh wait. The guard friend says that the main office must have messed up. All right. The guard at the gate says they have to call up. Give them a moment. The guard at the gate. Okay. To double check this. Okay. The love interest looks at the guard friend and makes a face, then attacks the guard at the gate. Okay. They all run off. Moving through the prison away from their original plan. Okay, so the other thing, the guard friend makes a face and then attacks the guard at the gate. The guard friend tells the love interest, punch him in the face, and that he's going to have to tell them that you forced me to do this. All right. Okay. The love interest punches them. I think it should be okay. All right. So, okay. The love interest and Laura run off, moving through the tunnels away from their original plan. Okay. Don't you have a plan B? He says, no, plan A seems so practical. Oh, that's funny. I forgot that I wrote that. Because it did, right? He's like, oh, my friend is the guard. We got the badges. It should be an in and out. Should be in and out. All right. I feel good with that expansion. Now, by the way, if you saw the beginning of this video, we were talking about this thing, right? So I'm going to do a little word count here. Right now we're at 518. So if we look at So right away, I know that this chapter is probably going to be, after everything is said and done, after I do all the prose, this chapter is probably going to be more like, right now, just this opening scene is probably going to be 2,000 words. Okay? So that means that it might benefit me to actually have these next two scenes be another chapter. Just because this feels like a full, even though all scenes should feel like a full beginning, middle, and end, like I was saying earlier, this feels like a full thread. And now this is them. This is mainly the love interest coming in, trying to save Laura and getting them out of there. But it all went to hell. So now we get to return back to first person, which is Laura, and we could play with this in another chapter. So with that said, let me set that up real quick. No one wants to see the behind the scenes, this part of it. This is just hoopla. I'm just doing some doubling up over here. Just give me a second. All right. Uno momento, por favor. Okay. Then we'll put this right here. And I'm not going to make it chapter 15. I'm going to make it chapter 14.2, okay? So that's how I sort of play with that. All right, let's bring that back up. Boop. Oh, what's this? My New Sleeping Beauty and Yu-Gi-Oh! Retelling title is... Oh, did you change it again? I could have swore, wasn't that what it was last time when you told us? But if you change it, it's again, your titles are going to change and come and go as you're working on it. I didn't get that feel of my chapter being long the other week. It was quite a surprise. It happens sometimes, and obviously, Flowers, since you're going to be a prolific writer and you're going to write and just keep creating, you will over time just naturally start sensing like, oh wait, I feel like this zero draft, these notes are going to expand and get a little bit bigger and stuff like that. Hey, it's Ro! What's up, sir? Welcome to the party. Yeah. All right, let's do this. So I'm going now, we can do this. And all of this is going to be changed to this. And this is no longer a soft chapter break, but that will be. All right, so there we go. We have that going. Okay, we can do this now because that's a soft chapter break. I'm actually going to go back to this chapter and I'm just going to delete these words. Okay, and then we can go here. And this becomes chapter 14.1, 14.1. And then I'm going to do this. Whoop. All right. And then I just add this little bad boy right here. And I'm going to add this little bad boy right here. And this becomes chapter 14.2. All right. And then I can delete this. Boop. All right, there we go. There we go. And now we're here. Boop. So now we get to play with 14.2. None of the above on the poll. Aww. Where do you get your best story ideas? I get my best story ideas from not writing Stephen King books. Okay. Afghani Waves. Row. Yes, I have been changing my titles, but now I have a very good feeling that this title is the right one. It's for a Christian story. Hey, as long as, remember at the end of the day, even before you release the book, you could change the title. I'd even say you could release the title afterwards. You're trying to sleep. Trying to sleep. Am I keeping you up? Speaking of, we're at the hour. So let's call it a day with the thing. But as you can see, I just as an ending point, this chapter 14 started off as a potential one long chapter. It had 3 scenes and it had them getting there and getting her out of the cell. Then it has them running, and then it has them getting stuck. So by doing the zero draft and beating out the beats of the scenes and ultimately the rhythm of the chapter, it has come to my attention that if I kept going, the chapter would end up being 4,000 or 5,000 words. But why did I break it up? because in reality, I'm allowing the high tension and stakes of this to really kind of settle in. Will they, won't they get out? But now I get to kind of speed things up in the next chapter. So the pacing issue would be, if it was all one chapter, it'd be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You know, so this gives readers a chance to end the chapter and say, do I want to keep going? If they do, then they can read, and it basically is like a reset. Remember, chapters basically reset the reader expectation. They're starting a new chapter. You have to set them up in the chapter, right? So it's a nice way to control their reading experience. Because the brain is saying, hey, what about this? If you got to go to bed, flowers, remember, we will not judge you here, okay? We understand everybody needs their beauty sleep. I need a lot of beauty sleep because, as you can see, I haven't been getting a lot. Look at this face. It needs a lot of work, okay? Honestly, the best story ideas come to me randomly, often while watching a movie or some other random activity. Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty of imagination and inspiration. You know, as we say, we should aspire to inspire in this world. Hey, flowers and Afghani. Anyway, all right, so there we go. We did all that. We did this. We talked about that. Okay, so Afghani wanted me to sort of go over the 27 plot point outline. So let's open this up. I actually have this. Let's get this going here. Got this all nice and settled for you. I got this nice and settled for you. Oh, I'm going to leave the voting up still. Everybody keep playing with it. You know, if anyone wants to jump on another vote, I'll talk about this real quick. Afghani, this is for you. You ready? You got a pen and paper? You got a pen and paper? Afghani, you got a pen and paper? All right. By the way, this is available for download in the thing. Let me see. Let me do this. I'll update the old one. All right, I'm updating the old one. Boop. Whoa. All right. Okay, there you go. I updated the old one. This one's updated. So what is today? The 10th? Oh, wow, October. All right. Here you go, Afghani and everybody else. This link takes you directly to the file that I have on the screen. You can download this and enjoy it. I will talk about it now, but just so you know you have it and it's there, and sort of gives you a little bit of insight into it. You'll need more than pen and paper. You'll need crayons and everything. Touche. I'm currently on chapter 5, Cinque, in my outline. It's going so well, even though I've started over and over and over many times. Well, at one point or another, Hannah Hart, you got to say to yourself, let's keep going and not start over. But, you know, again, you have to find your rhythm. So, all right. Yeah, but anyway, there's the link. It's free to download. You don't have to sign up for anything. But, you know, hey, share the love. All right, so Afghani, looking at the screen, let's go over it. This is including a prologue and an epilogue, but the 27 plot point outline doesn't necessarily connect directly to the prologue and epilogue. Prologues and epilogues are their own thing. I could literally go on and on about those by themselves. Prologues cannot be chapter 1. There's something more important about them. Basically, I leave a note in here that says it can establish one or more of these things: context, tone, themes, book, hook the reader, or introduce key characters. At the same time, you could do more than one of those things. But if it's just chapter 1 and, you know, your chapter 1 just continues what you set up in the prologue, you might not have a prologue. Same thing with epilogue. Epilogues are not the last chapter. They are something else. They do something else. So with that said, I'm just focusing on the plot points and not chapters, okay? So bear in mind, there are 3 acts to the narrative. Each act has 3 sections, and each section has 3 plot points. Okay? Act 1. So with that said, there are 3, right? So it's beginning, middle, and end. So every time you approach these beginnings, middles, and ends, remember the rule. The beginning is always setup and context. The more setup and context you have, the more you can challenge it in the middle. And then whatever the middle conflict is, the resolution must lead into the end. Now, most of your narrative is going to have resolution that moves the narrative forward. The only time that it would resolve to end the narrative is at the end of Act 3, plot point 27. With that said, Act 1 must have a beginning, middle, and end. Act 2 must have a beginning, middle, and end. And Act 3 must have a beginning, and middle, and end. So Act 1, Section 1 is the beginning. Section 2 is the middle. And Section 3 is the resolution of Act 1. As you can see on here, Act 1 also has the 3 plot points. So the first one is the setup and context. As you can see, it literally says that the ordinary world before the disruption. So any chapters, you can put more than one chapter in a plot point. Any chapters in plot point 1 must do one specific thing, which is introduce the ordinary world before the disruption. So if they're fighting in a war, that is their ordinary world. There is no disruption yet. If they're in a marriage, that is their ordinary world. The marriage is not the disruption of their world, right? That is what you are establishing. You can establish anything you want in the ordinary world, okay? And you have to set it up with enough context. But Thomas, how do I know I have enough context? Well, if you're outlining and not writing off the seat of your pants, you'll know by the time you hit the 27 plot point if you have enough context, because basically, did I explain enough to have these payoffs in Act 2 and so forth and so forth. But the rule of thumb is plot point 1 must establish at minimum your character's motivations, basically who they are and positions. However, I will say this much. Once you introduce that in plot point 1, you have the entirety of Act 1 to expand on that. So what does that mean? It means in your plot point 1 chapters, you don't have to go into the deep history of their motivations or the deep truth of who they are and their positions. But you have to at least establish their motivations and positions. What does that mean? It means, let's say we're writing an epic fantasy and it starts off with a blacksmith. And the blacksmith is working and they're chopping away at a sword blade and doing whatever they're doing. So we've already established that they are a blacksmith. We don't have to go into the deepness of them being a blacksmith. Then let's say this blacksmith has a husband. Okay? So now we've established, without telling, we've shown that this character and the husband are in a LGBT. They're in a gay marriage, right? Or a gay relationship, but it is the husband, so it's a marriage, right? So we did that without telling anything. We're not exploring it yet, but the reader now knows there's a blacksmith and they are in a gay marriage, right? Then while they're doing it, the husband says, we haven't been able to, if we keep up it this way, we're going to be gone out of our savings, and the lord of the town is, or the city is, of blah blah blah, is going to kick us out. So you might say, but Thomas, that sounds like an inciting incident, but it's not. We are setting up their ordinary world, that they are basically running a business at a deficit. They are losing money every month. So that is their ordinary world. We don't need to go deep into that, though. We know that there's a lord. We know, people aren't really buying. We're just setting up these threads. And if that is how your first chapter is in plot point 1, and by the end of that chapter, we learn that the blacksmith themselves is like, well, I have to figure something out. It's my responsibility to either grow this business or sell this business. I got to do something, whatever the case is, because we have a life here and I don't want to lose this life. And that could be chapter 1. But you can say to yourself, I kind of want to explore other elements of that. So if you have maybe chapter 1 is the blacksmith, maybe chapter 2 is the lord, maybe chapter 3 we could go back to the blacksmith and we can explore a little bit more of their poor business skill. Maybe they suck at business. They're really good at being a blacksmith, but they don't know how to sell anything. They don't know how to upsell, whatever the case is. So plot point 2 might bring in the inciting incident, which somebody comes into town, and the rule of thumb is we must disrupt the ordinary world in plot point 2. And in this situation, someone comes in and says, I am slowly interested in bringing my family and business to this city. I'm trying to buy up failing businesses so I can rebuild, either tear them down and add housing, or just help maybe establish the building themselves. And there we go. Now the blacksmith is introduced to a business person who says, I either want to buy your company and do what I can with it, or whatever the case is. I have 45 chapters. Will this plot point outline help me as well? Just curious. Yeah, 100%. Because remember, the plot points aren't chapters. The plot points are just what chapters have to do within that area. Random fact, Japanese theater has 5 acts. That is a good random fact, and true. What is this? The plot point outline will help regardless of chapter count. That is 100%. So I'm not going to do this for all the plot points, but I'm just giving experience. So the person comes in and says, I will buy up your businesses. And maybe that's one chapter for plot point 2. And it starts off where the blacksmith overhears this business person trying to buy up a neighbor's. They're at the tavern or whatever, and they hear that they're trying to buy up a couple of the stores or the businesses. And anyway, and then the blacksmith is like, oh, whatever, who is this person just coming into this city? And then they go back to their blacksmith shop or whatever. And while they're working there, who comes in? The business person. So, they go, I want to buy up your shop. So what is plot point 3? Plot point 3 is now the blacksmith is dealing with that. This would be our out. But what if this business person can just become a partner? What if they can handle the business of it? I'm really good at what I do. Everyone loves my work. People do come from far and near. It's just I don't know how to upsell. I don't know how to do anything other than the minimum of they asked me for this, so I made the thing. And so now the blacksmith and their husband are thinking about what to do with that, etc., etc. Okay, so that's how the plot points work, in a sense of we just set up their ordinary world. We challenge them with the disruption that somebody's coming in to try to buy it. We also know that they need money. And then now, this could change everything, right? Okay. And so I'd almost say the conversation where they have with the husband, where they're like, we should do this because maybe I could go into business. But this might be where they're dealing with the direct, maybe this could help, maybe this, or whatever the case may be, right? So when you're looking at this Afghani, you have to remember to set up the beginning in section 1, right? In section 2, you have to challenge whatever it is the ordinary world was, and then section 3, you're going to basically create a resolution. The way this works is you look at it and it gives you the rule. The protagonist is reacting to the inciting incident. So whatever your inciting incident is in the narrative, you want to allow plot point 3 chapters or chapter to explore the reaction to that inciting incident. Once you get to plot point 14, you're now in the middle of Act 1. So this is all starting the major conflict, right? So as section says, it's the problem disrupts the protagonist's world. So what's the rule of plot point 4? The protagonist reacts to and reflects on the long-term impacts of the inciting incident. So this leads to reflection and choice. So what is this doing? It's taking what we established in section 1 and it slows it down. This slowdown helps the reader catch up to everything that just happened. It recontextualizes their new position. Because remember, the beginning of a section, the beginning of a narrative, whatever the case is, must set up context. So not only are they reflecting on the long-term impact of the inciting incident, but they're recontextualizing. They're setting up where their new position is, or if the position changed at all. And we take that and we now challenge it. The protagonist decides to take action. And what this means, Afghani and everyone else, is that whatever it is that they made a choice on in plot point 14, they're going to do it. I know it says decides to take action, but it means that they decide to literally take the action and take the action. So this is proactive, but it is a conflict because we are challenging something. Now remember, You can challenge things with a positive or a negative. Okay. For example, if somebody is working as an accountant and the boss comes over to him and says, "Hey, we're going to give you a promotion. We've been liking what you're doing," and that is a positive challenge. It is changing their world. And then they say, "You know what? I'm gonna approach this. The taking action would be them going, I'm going to do it. I'm going to go in." So they go into work the next day and they go head first into being in the new position. So that's technically a positive conflict or challenge. It's just they have never been in this world before. So now they have to deal with getting used to that position. Okay. Plot point 6, as you can see, says the immediate consequences of them taking action. So if we use the accountant, okay, as an example, they decide to go head first the next day into their new position. All right. And they work and they get used to it, and it's their first day on the job and they're dealing with everything. Well, after a week of being after that first day, what happens? The next day, they realize people are complaining. They don't know what they're doing. How did they get the job? We should have got the job. I don't know how they got the promotion. So the next chapter, or plot point 6, would be showing the consequences of the action that they took. But to be clear, consequences can be good or bad. All right. But I would recommend Afghani if you watch, because I could go on for hours with it. If you watch the actually I'll boop 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 whoop 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 sound of the police. All right. Let's see, playlists. Where are my playlists? Hold on to your feet. Here you go. Here you go, Afghani. You could save this for later. So this is the playlist that will go over everything in greater detail. I'm just giving you the basis idea of it. But if you look at the simple version of the outline, it's just literally telling you what needs to go in that plot point, what needs to go into any chapter that is a part of that plot point. It also tells you if a chapter shouldn't be a part of that plot point. Because obviously, if you're setting up the world and then you're 6 chapters in or whatever, or 5 chapters in, and then you're still setting up the world, that maybe you are outside the realm. Maybe you should set up that world a little later. All right. So that's something you have to think about when you're using the outline. Is it's basically a guide, but it's not necessarily saying this is what must happen. It just says what the theme or the feel or the mood or the purpose of those plot points are. And again, just for anyone listening, plot point 1 could have 4 or 5 chapters. Plot point 1 could have 1 chapter. Plot point 3 can have maybe 2 or 3 chapters. Plot point 4 could have 1 chapter. This could have 1 chapter. This one maybe has 2 chapters. So just like we're doing with the sci-fi story, sometimes plot points have to be more than 1 chapter. Sometimes they have to be 3 chapters. It really comes down to the kind of information you want to bring into the narrative. Did you set up enough context? Are you challenging something enough? And did you give enough information to resolve it and move the plot forward? I will say this, though. I am still going really far. I'm getting deep into this book. It will be done. I think this book will be done by December, the latest. And it's only because I'm working on 5 books right now at the same time. So I try to give a half out to each book. But once this book is done, it will not only go through the entirety of this 27 plot point outline, but it breaks down and explores things. It tells you the why, what, where, when, how, and gives you lots of examples. I use Pirates of the Caribbean as a direct reference point. So I have a chapter dedicated to just breaking down how Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl, uses the 27 plot point outline. In that movie, there is indeed a prologue, and there is indeed an epilogue. So the whole thing is explored within that book as well. but there's also a real-time example in the book where it doesn't do like the whole story or whatever, but it shows you how to do a short form, shows you how to do an extended, how to outline your zero draft, and then how to turn that into something else. Oh, thanks, Ro. Hey, I can't wait till that book's out. I'll be honest. I even love the cover. This cover's really got me going. I worked hard on that cover. I was excited for that cover. For anyone though who doesn't know, you can bloop the beard and bloop that like button. All right. Other than that, is there anything else? Is there anything else? Does anyone have any questions? I know I could have went deep into that, but honestly, Afghani, those other videos probably would be your best bet to really jump into. I think you'll get a lot out of it. For anyone who doesn't know, wait, where is it? Boop, 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 whoop, whoop. Sound it up, police. All right. What we got here? We got Angel Faye dropping by to say hi, Thomas. Welcome, Angel Faye. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Always lovely to see you. For anyone who doesn't know, I do have a Patreon. I know I'm pushing it a little bit. I'm trying to build that as well. For anyone who doesn't know, September 1st, I will be releasing Death of a King, but as a Patreon tier that shows you the inner workings of that book. So this will not be the polished version of the book. It's going to show you my notes. It's going to show you how I did the short form outline, how I did the extended outline. It will also then show you the zero drafts, and then it'll show you the first draft, and then it'll show you the draft before I polish the book for release. So if you go to that link, it'll take you right there. The first post that is pinned is new Patreon tier, which will basically explain what this is. But it's an inside look because I feel that writing, we should be able to help one another and show everybody the inner workings of everything. So this tier is specifically going to help you see how I got from where I got. So you'll see literally my notes. I will take out spoilers though, so you can still experience the unfolding through the book and not necessarily get. But I do have notes in my works that tell me where this connects to or how it leads to. But I don't want to give away spoilers. However, other than that and formatting the information, I have not changed anything. So you're going to see the notes as are. You'll see them slowly develop into these clean prose. You'll see how the thing that as I'm like going through everything and I'm like working on the formatting and stuff like that, I realize like one little idea, like one sentence turned into this big moment, you know, like a really nice opening or whatever the case may be. And that's the thing about writing. Like just because it's a broad general line statement in your outline doesn't mean that can't turn into something, doesn't mean it can't move. And that's what I mean about story, right? So every narrative has plot and story. Plot is what needs to happen no matter what, and story is how it unfolds through the emotional choices and experiences of your characters. So when I'm writing prose out, as characters are experiencing that plot line, even if it's just one sentence, they are making choices that will move them around the page until they get to the next plot point. And that's the thing about outlining and writing. Outlining is going to feel rigid. It just will. It's, you know, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens, this happens. But just because this happens and then this happens doesn't mean you can't have stuff happening between those plot points. Those are the results or consequences of character choices and the way they're experiencing that plot point beat. So you can look at it that way. It doesn't limit you to anything too crazy. But this will be available in September. It'll basically release 2 chapters a week. It'll be the zero draft and the first draft. Not the first draft, but like not the final draft, but the first draft. So it'll be a zero draft and then first draft. And then once all those are released for that book, then I'll release the draft before the polish, just so you can sort of see where it ended up. So I'm really excited about that. It basically means 4 chapters a month will be released. But those 4 chapters will have 2 versions. So that's, 8 chapters. But again, You could also follow the Patreon page for free. There is a free membership. There is information on it. You get to see the traveling adventures of me. So you get to be kept up on stuff that you might not really see on YouTube. But of course, every tier has a benefit to it. So there's no like, hey, just spend $3 supporting me. Every tier, other than the free tier, have extra educational benefits. I know it's not. I'm not saying to pay for anything. I'm saying you can just get on for free and get some benefit to the sense. But at the end of the day, this will be happening in September, and I'm excited for that. All right. Other than that, does anyone have any questions? Do you have any thoughts, ideas? Do you want to talk about your books? We do have the poll we could go over. Let's do that. Let's do that. We're gonna end the poll. Boop, boop. Whoop whoop. Oh no, bullies. All right. So where do you get your best story ideas? We have fascinating historical facts. We have dreams. We have listening to conversations, and then we have news articles. The majority of people said fascinating historical facts. I really love for anyone on here to kind of expand on that and tell me what historical fact inspired you to write your story. I'd love to hear that. As far as dreams go, yeah, right. You have these dreams and these full stories, and tell me if I'm the only one, but like you can hear everything and feel it and taste it and see it, and like you're there and it's moving around like a movie. But then you go to write it down and it's like, how do I make it smooth like that? How do I dive that? And I know as a screenwriter and a novelist, the big difference is like the smoothness of a visual is completely different than the long form narrative, because long form narrative is through the immersion of character experience and their choices, right? Whereas film, it's a visual medium, so we can show you things that tell part of the story, whereas in a book we don't have that option. So I always found that interesting. I did have one good story idea from a dream, which I have written into a short story. Is it available? Can we see it? Can we support you? Can we read it? Can we follow you on something? What's the deal? But most of my dream ideas seem brilliant at first, but in the morning they turn out to be dumb. I will always stand by this, Afghani. There's no such thing as a dumb idea. It's just, where do you take it? How do you move it? How do you play with it? I said this earlier. Break your ideas. Even if it's a dumb idea. If you like, why did this turned out so stupid. Take that idea and play. Where does it go? How far can you go with it? What crazy things can you add to that idea to mold it? That is a skill. In fact, if you worked with other writers in a, and I'm not saying this in a derogatory way, but like a professional way, like if you were hired to work with a team, it's a tool that helps you add value to that table, because your job isn't necessarily coming up with the greatest idea in one shot. Your job is having ideas. Your job is being able to play with ideas, right? Because writing is easy. Chris met Sarah. Being a writer is hard because we have to ask questions. We got to be confident with the answers. We got to explore and break and twist and contort and change things. We have to spend time finding the holes. Our job is not to basically come up with questions that go, yeah, that's perfect. Our job is to see where it doesn't work. That's what makes a great writer. Asking questions, challenging things, trying to figure out why this doesn't work, right? It's sort of like being a scientist. Hawkins, he came up with the Big Bang Theory, but he spent the majority of his life trying to disprove the Big Bang Theory, because that's the thing as writers. We come up with these ideas, and to make sure they work, we have to be able to say it doesn't work. But if you can't find anything that makes it not work, then you're in good shape, right? But you also can't write it and be like, this is a good idea. Of course it works, right? Because a writer's job is to ask questions, to ask why. There's this exercise I do with clients, especially newer like author clients. Not that they're newer clients to me, but they're newer authors. And they'll say, this thing happens, whatever it is, okay? They fight a dragon. And then I look at it, I'm like, okay, awesome. Why? And then they're like, well, because there's a dragon attacking the village. Oh, that's great. Why? And I'm like, what do you mean? The dragon attacks people. The dragon eats people. Okay, why? Well, the dragon's just it's just the antagonist. It's just okay. All right. Well, then all right? You don't want to go deeper into that? Then why does the hero, the protagonist, attack the dragon? Oh, to protect the people. But why? What do you think? This is a stupid story? No. I'm just interested in why. Why? Why is this person putting their life on the line to save this city from a dragon? But more importantly, what's interesting about that dragon other than it's a dragon? Why is it attacking the people? Right? Because that's what writers do. We have to understand the why. And by the way, you can ask why forever. Technically, you could continue asking why even beyond the answers you get. But the deeper you go, the more you create behavior, choices, and experience for those characters. While I haven't worked on it yet, one of my stories borrows events from the Japanese occupation of China pre-WW2. Interesting. That's fascinating. That is fascinating. Yeah, like real world events, inspiring story. I mean, technically, Saving Private Ryan is inspired by the what is it? The Normandy, right? Something. Like that. Oh, what is hello. I asked way too much, I think. Why I never finished the story. Psychological background. I am also a student of psychology. That's the other part about being a writer is you have to ask yourself, when is too much, right? You have to make confident decisions on your whys. So when you're asking the questions, at the end of the day, you have to be confident in where you got to and if you're comfortable with that. The reason I say to just keep asking why is to just understand the behavior, to understand the motivation. You don't have to go much further than once you go, well, this dragon has been hounding the city for 10 years, and this protagonist lost their cousin to the dragon a year ago, and they swore to avenge the cousins because they grew up as children and they loved each other and they were very close. And and you're like, you know what? That's enough. Why? I could go deeper though. I could go deep. I could be like, well, their father was also a knight and their mother was a high-ranking general in an army, and they were raised on the sense of duty. Okay, all right. Like I could keep going, but they had a deep relationship. The cousin was killed, and they want to avenge the cousin's death. That's technically enough. Why? Right? Because now we know their behavior is they have a sense of duty. They have a sense of loyalty to their cousin. But you could keep going. You can. But when is enough is ultimately you have to make that choice. You have to be the one that says, I think I have enough to create believable behavior in this character. Because what does that really mean, behavior, right? So if we go with that protagonist that is loyal to the relationship they had with their favorite cousin, will they give up trying to kill that dragon? Now, let's say the protagonist doesn't have that loyalty to their cousin, that the cousin wasn't necessarily their favorite cousin, but they were cousins, and out of familial loyalty, they're like, I'm going to do it. There's a chance the protagonist is going to be like, that was a lot of fire. I'm not doing this on my own. I'm out of here. And they might try to find a new way to get people to help. They might even find people to do it for them. But the behavior element is their positions, the things they believe, and why they're doing things. So you do have to ask why enough to get to that position and to get to that belief. After that, you can basically start working on it. Hey, look, Afghani is top fans again. Ba-boom, ba-boom. I'm liking an Afghani. Anyway, any other questions? I love questions. Questions. Question. All right. Then I end up imagining the whole 12-year relationship the character had with the cousin, just so I can compare in a little memories to give it more emotional weight. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that per se. It is good, if you want to really play with flashbacks to create those emotional truths, especially if they're triggered memories. That's always good. But remember, it's not really about the full 12 years. It might be about moments within those 12 years. Like if you think about your own life, there's probably memories you have that are spotty, where, and I mean that in a positive way, where it's like, I remember this one big moment. I remember this party with my family and my cousins were there and my favorite cousin was there, right? But then maybe like the next big memory you have might be a year later or 2 years later where you're like, oh, remember when we went to Disney World or whatever the case is. So if you could think of like big moments, those are probably more beneficial to you than thinking of 12 years in total. I will have backstory for the cousins. That's funny. Meow. I love it. Whoop, what we got here? I have 45 chapters. Would the plot point outline help with my story? Did you answer? Hannah, yeah, the answer's still the same. The plot point, the 27 plot point outline will definitely help with the chapters. Question, why did Manowar... Ro, you trying to make me put up a picture of Manowar? I don't know if the audience is ready to handle a picture of Manowar. Is everyone ready for some Manowar? Do you want some, because if you're not into metal... You are not my friend. Heavy metal or no metal at all. Sorry. All right. To answer your question, metal. Metal! Even Flowers singing heavy metal. No! Reluctantly crouched at the starting line, running real far from Manowar pitchers because they're so disgusting in the oil. But I slip because the oil's so much. Then I fall on my back. Ouch. I'm going, not the distance I fell. Too funny. All right. What else we? Oh, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, I also have my book out. So you could go right to makearightlefthere.com. And because I got to get ready to go soon. makearightlefthere.com. Remember, you could check it out. The book is available in ebook, hardcover, and softcover, everybody. Softcover. And the audiobook will be out by September as well. I'm just finalizing a couple things. Oh, God, that song got me through. That's a great song. Right? It's funny. Manowar pants. They're so heavy metal, their pants are basically just Tarzan loincloths. That's all I have to say with that. All right. Any other questions about writing? If you have questions about your own book, if you have questions about outlining, anything, feel free to ask. I'm here. I'm here to tell you. We got a couple more minutes. You know me. Woo! The stock market's up, everybody. All right. The hee-hee man of metal. Bye, everyone. See you next weekend. Ro, have a great week. You go have fun working. Always a pleasure to see you, my friend. And obviously, we talk. We talk. Be cool. Be cool. Be cool, man. Be cool. Breaks. How do you get back into a story you haven't worked on for months? I had to take a big break because I got really sick. I'm okay now. First of all, I'm sorry you was sick, but I'm very happy you're okay now. This is a really good question because sometimes we can't write every day, all day, and we can't write all week, all month, all year. So how do you get back into a story you haven't worked on for months? I'm going to tell you how I do it. And maybe that'll be something you could look into, but I'll give you some alternatives at the end. So the way I get back into it is I read my short form outline, okay? I just go to the quick, general, broad notes that sort of gets me into the groove of what that narrative is about. I read that once or twice. And then I read the extended outline. And this gives me a little bit more in-depth understanding of the movement of the narrative. Once I have that, I'm able to jump back into whatever chapter I was working on last. I don't need to read the other chapters, and the reason that is because if I'm looking at zero drafts, those are just expansions of the plot points that are explained in the extended outline and also the short form outline. Because I'm basically working out the groove and the move and the truth, right? At most, though, I may read the zero draft chapter that's before the chapter I am currently working on, just to sort of get an idea of how to connect the emotional beats from the last chapter to this chapter. That works every time for me and has definitely helped me. Even with screenplays. What I do, I will read the short form and the extended draft. But because screenplays are so much shorter in reference, to give you an idea, 10 pages of a screenplay is probably really like 3 pages of a novel, because the way the spacing is. So with a screenplay, I'll just reread what I had after I did reading the short form and the extended, and I sort of get back into the groove. But I also am able to clean up when I'm reading too. That's always happening. Luckily, I am an outliner. Excellent. Yeah, that has always helped me to sort of get back into the mindset of it. However, for anyone out there who isn't an outliner, one of my close author friends, what they like to do is they like to read the first, like, let's say they have like 10 chapters written. They'll break it up. They'll read like the first chapter and maybe the chapter in the middle and then the chapter right before the chapter they're working on. They said that helps them. They don't have to read the whole thing, but it gives them an idea of like what has happened. And then as far as just like screenwriters and stuff like that, a lot of them, believe it or not, what they'll do is they won't even look at the last thing they wrote. They'll just rewrite the script. Somebody who does this famously is Taika Waititi, whatever, the guy who did Thor Ragnarok, and he did Where They Are in the Shadows, whatever. He says he writes a full script, and then he basically puts it away for a year or two, and then he'll come back to it and just try to rewrite it from memory. Quentin Tarantino has also famously announced that what he does is he writes his screenplays up to his midpoint conflict, to the middle of where he thinks the story is, and then he pushes that to the side, and then he rewrites the story from the beginning because he's like, I understand my characters by then, so then I can rewrite it and sort of add some flavor. So sometimes it's okay to basically throw out stuff or not even be completely aware of what you had written, but what you do remember. But personally, I like the outlining strategy. Taking a 20-year break was helpful. I could treat the story like I hadn't written it. Excellent. Almost like someone else had written it. Editing seemed much easier. Yeah, that's a great way to really approach something that's 20 years in the making, ultimately. Because the other thing is, like, you're not beholden to that story because you yourself have changed and you've experienced stuff and your emotions have, evolved. So, like, to be able to look at those scenes again, you could almost it's a reiteration of those moments. So that's always really serendipitous, I guess. How do you find a good seed for your story to crystallize around? Ooh, that's a good question. And by the way, hello, and welcome to the live. So I'm going to tell you a trick that I was taught as a screenwriter that I use as a novelist now. Okay, and again, I've been in the entertainment industry for over 20-something years, and I started as a comic book illustrator / writer and moved into the film and television, stuff like that. So the thing is, if you didn't hear me earlier, I was talking about this. You basically take an idea, whether it is just like, cats talk, and you sort of just write that down. You can't see it now, but I have 3 whiteboards on my wall. And I just randomly write stuff on the whiteboard and I start connecting it. And the reason I do that is because I'm just coming up with as many ideas, whether stupid or good or whatever they are. It doesn't matter. I don't allow myself to say no. I just, cats talk. Oh, they're aliens. No, they're from a hollow earth. The earth is hollow. But what else is about the hollow earth? And I just start writing stuff around those ideas. Additionally, once I have that information, if you heard me in the beginning, I talk about how I break it. I want to figure out what doesn't work. But then I also want to say, if cats can talk, are they being mind controlled? Are they robots? Are they, whatever are they humans stuck in cats? Is there magic involved? Is it a contemporary time? Like, I just start taking the idea I had and I start really trying to manipulate it and break it and see how far I could go, and then I pull it back. The reason I do it that way is because when you're in a writer's room, that's what it is. It's just, all right, the head writer will say, I have this idea. This is where I'm thinking of. And then the writers will basically go around the room and they'd say, oh, no, and they just start throwing out ideas. If you can, there's a really good behind the scenes video of Friends and their writer's room, and they're doing exactly what I'm talking about. They'll be like, all right, so last we left, Ross and Rachel, spoiler alert, they got married in Vegas, then they walked out, and Chandler and Monica see them. What happens? And then you see them start brainstorming these ideas, where does it go, and stuff like that. So the head writer creates the scenario, and then the writers around the room. So that stayed with me when it came to brainstorming, even telling jokes, like writing jokes. So I hope that helps. As far as alternatives to seating, ultimately, your job is to really experience life. So when you have an idea, just research that idea. Dive into that idea. Explore the world around that idea. Even if it's talking cats. You know what I'm saying? Like, just explore the idea itself. Look into cats. Research cats. Big cats. The large cat families, the small cat families. Research cats that aren't there anymore. But the point is, if you're trying to explore something, just research information about it, because that might help you expand it into something bigger and stronger. I hope that helped. I hope that was informative. Prior to the break, I actually got to the halfway point and then rewrote the whole thing again. I'm not against that. I think that's a very powerful approach to writing. Even the book that I showed on the screen, The Death of a King, that book is something I had in the works since I was probably 16. But I didn't really write anything at first, because I was always like, do I really want to be a novelist? I want to be a screenwriter, I want to be in the entertainment industry. But it wasn't until I wrote my first book that I was like, I think I'm going to go back to that book. It seems like something to play with. I think there is a quality to that. There's a very good move to throwing something out and just kind of rewriting it from your heart and what you remember. We were on a break. The cat teleport. I love it. Me and my husband have 13 cats, and the village just seems to keep producing them faster than they can breed. There is one spot in the village where every single day there will be a new cat next to this tiny little window. They are invading from another planet. Boom! Look at that. Everything you just said is perfect. And I would go deeper than it. I would explore that, and then I would challenge it. Maybe we learn that they aren't aliens. Maybe there's something else going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so much you could do, and that's the brilliance of brainstorming. There are no wrong answers when it comes to brainstorming and diving deep. It did. Thank you. I appreciate the notion of throwing the ideas out there to test the limits of an idea. You are welcome. I'm glad that it was helpful in any way whatsoever. Always feel free to come on the live show Saturday and Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm always happy to answer questions. I usually do an hour of educational stuff for craft and writing. And then the second hour, like we're doing now, the floor is yours. And I implore authors to come on and ask their questions away. Ask their questions away. Yeah. Plus, we sing a little bit here, right, guys? we sing, and we dance. You should try the green stuff. Don't believe us? Ask the dishes. They can sing, they can dance. All right, sorry. I'm also weird. I'm a wacko, and I'm happy about that wackoness because it keeps me alive. It keeps me going. Who here doesn't like laughter? Come on, be honest, right? We like to laugh. We like to ha. Anyway, with that, let's do it. So if you haven't done so already, please subscribe and hit the like button and the bell icon so you don't miss out. You can find everything and anything on me on makearightlefthehere.com. You could see where to find me live and all this other stuff. And occasionally, I have a little extra things up there. Thomas does the safety. I will say this much. We can dance if we want to. We can leave our friends behind. 'Cause your friends don't dance, and if they don't dance, well, they're no friends of mine. I say we can go where we want to, a place where they'll never find. And we can act like we come from out this world. Leave the real one far behind. We can dance. We can dance. We can dance if we want to. We can dance all night and day. All right. As long as we don't abuse it, never gonna lose it. All right. We even have an evil villain in the village. The priest is allegedly killing them with boiling. Oh, I like it. I like it. What are his motivations? We have to ask why. Why does the priest burn them? But it's allegedly. So why do people believe the priest is boiling them? See, there we go. See, the word allegedly changes our line of questioning, because now we have two motivations. If the priest is boiling them alive, why? And if it is just allegations, why does the village believe the priest is evil and doing these things? We can dance, everybody, look at our pants. I scared people away with my singing, and I just want you to know, it happens. I say we can dance if we want to. We can dance. Right. Safety dance. Safety dance. All right, where was I? I was saying something else. Did I do everything? Did I do all the spiel? Did I miss anything, everybody? Did I get the whole spiel in there? Because you gotta remember, people are gonna be watching this after it's done being live. So I did the bloopa doopa doo. Okay, bloop the beard. I did the book. I did the thing on this. I talked about this. I did the, hey, let's do a subscription. I did everything. Oh, I just didn't do the Man-O-War picture. But I can't do the Man-O-War picture. But I'll give you one of these. This is as Man-O-War as we're going to get. Look at me in the middle there. This is stupid. This is me towards the end, though. I think I fixed the look. Would you say this was me in the beginning? This is me at the end. I think I upgraded. See, this is like, look at me. And then this is like, look at me. I think it worked out. I think I fixed it. I think I fixed it towards the end. Just keep dancing. It's all cool. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I like to dance. Dance. I missed the plot point book, I think. Well, this book, it's not out yet, but I am working on it. It will be out, I promise you. I am having a blast writing that book, just for the record. That's better. No pants. Do I? No, I have pants on. Don't I have pants on? Do I have pants on? Just black pants. This is just actually black jeans. I think black sneakers. I got my little. I still have that staff. I really like this outfit though. This outfit was killing, but it was so hot in there. It was so hot. This is me singing Jekyll and Hyde's confrontation with a friend. He played Jekyll in this, and I played Hyde. So he was like, lost in the darkness, silence surrounds you. Once there was morning, now endless night, right? And then I come in, I was like, do you really think that I would ever let you go? Do you think I'd ever set you free? If you do, right? So I did all that. I had a lot of fun. Is your hair still that long? I don't know. Let's see. Yes. I didn't go bald. I'm 47 years old. Yeah, I'm an old fogey. And I didn't go bald. I didn't even start going bald. So my dad was like, listen, every guy in our family is bald. If you cut your hair, I'm going to beat you. So I decided to keep the hair. It is a free concert. It is free. Look at it. Oh, his hair's down. Let's see what you did there, Flowers. Wow. So I tie it up because it gets very, very hot. Like just having it down there, I was already hot. I was like, whoo! It is some of the best hair I've. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. Well, follow me on social media. I have the hair down all the time on my Instagram, everything. I do take the hair out, like if it's out and it's breezy out, it's nice out. But if I'm in home, the AC's off so it doesn't boo on the mic, and it's hot out today. It's like, what is it, 87 degrees here in the Midwest. Jesus. I'm sweating. My hands are sticky. I'm going to say this. I do like guys with long hair. Oh, well, it's because our hair and our beards do the talking. We're like Ratatouille, we just go where the beard and hair takes us. We're just vehicles for its existence. Yeah, I am Italy, and my shoulder length is too much for me. Tu parlo italiano? Io parlo italiano. What is it? No, io parlo italiano. Salve. Sicilian. Let's see. Where is it? Calabre? I don't know. I forget. I love Italy. Yes, I'm in that queue too. The queue? What queue? The long hair queue? Oh, you are you saying you like the men with the long hair? Oh, by the way, Flowers, I sent you a message. Let me know if you got it, because like you did me you were so wonderful in purchasing a cup. I just found out I could download the app for that store on my phone, and then it lets me send private. Oh yeah, like audio thank yous, and I was like so excited. I was like, woo! Thanks, everyone. So I spent the morning doing that. I'm glad you got it. You deserve it, because you're amazing. Thank you for that. You can borrow some hair, Afghani. So basically, what they do is they have these things called wigs. And for anyone who hasn't asked yet, yes, I do cut my hair. I trim it. I keep it as nice as I possibly can. I take care of it as one should. And but yeah, no, everyone, my grandparents, both my grandfathers were bald. My dad was bald. My two brothers are bald. My uncle's bald. I do have a cousin who has long hair like me. He's an older cousin, though. He's probably like 10 years older than me, maybe 12 years older than me. He's starting to bald, but he still has long hair. But I have yet to show signs, like even in the back. I do worry about that, but at the end of the day, what do I care? I'm 47. I'm too old to date. It's not like I'm setting up a party or anything, I write. That's my love relationship. That's I put time into that relationship. I just write stories. I'm in relationships with all my characters, and there's a lot of them, and they're always like, "Where's my birthday present?" I'm like, "I put you in the book." Kami so gifa, statazi, that's spetta, That's all I say to him. I haven't listened to it yet. I spotted it, but you went live. Oh, well, I won't tell you. I'll leave the surprise for you. I'm like the only bald one in my family, other than some great grandfather. Do you feel like you lost the lotto with that? Like you're like, I wanted long hair and then I got bald. I always wonder about that. I have a friend who they're about my age, and they have like they still have the full thick hair, but they always shave. They're bald. Like they buzz it and then they bick it, and they have like a bald head, but they have like it grows out, like when it peach fuzzes out, like it's full and thick. And they're like, nah, I just like a bald head. I'm like, but you should just enjoy it until you can't, I made my peace with it. Sometimes you have to, Like I made the peace with the fact that I'm 5'9.5". Like, not everyone could be tall. And I wish I was like 6 foot. That's all. I just want to be 6 foot. Just so I don't have to stretch. I could just grab stuff off, out of the shelf or whatever. If you weren't gray, though, you would look 30. Good genes. Thank you. I have great genes. I appreciate that. Yeah. It is a little gray. Be honest with you, I used to be dark brown, and then I had red. I had red in my mustache, but the red is disappearing. My uncle has red, blonde, and then brown. So that's always interesting. I like seeing the hairs like that. But I appreciate it. I look 30. I tell people I'm young for my old age, and when they ask me my year, I go 1978. I will tell you this though. When I was younger, I was youthful. All right. Other than that, we made it. It is 2 hours in. We did it. We got here, everybody. I had a lot of fun. Oh, before we go, let me just do the thing. I got to tell everybody we have this week. What's the schedule for this week? What are we doing this week? Let's see. Look how far it's down. This year is almost over, everyone. Are you excited about the new year or the fact that this year is up? I'd like. All right. Anyway, what we got? The 10th. Okay. Ooh. So this Wednesday, the whatever it is, the 13th. Just for the record, at 2 p.m. the premiere, the pre-recorded video of The Hunger Games by Susan Collins. I will be doing a prose analysis. So we're going to take the first page and we're going to do a prose analysis and break it down. We're going to talk about logical narrative movement. We're going to talk about, is she accomplishing one or more of these three things, which is plot, character, or world building. So we get to see that. We get to also talk about some things that could or could not be construed as good or bad writing. My parents are both tall. I stopped growing at 5'6", the perfect height for society. The world is built for my height. It really is. You definitely, you're in the luck zone. Well, half the world. Yeah, when I meet tall people, I'm just like, well, I don't have to duck, you know. Also, this Friday will be the first video in season 5 of the new podcast season for the for the Right Mindset podcast. Kalax Kai will be the first guest of the season. And then next Saturday, we are doing how to establish clear positions and motivations for characters. Well, that almost links to our behavior discussion earlier in this. So we're going to talk about how to establish clear positions and motivations for your characters. I'm actually kind of excited about that. Yeah, obviously Sunday we continue to do what we do. All right, that's everything. We are done. Oh, what's this? I want to watch your videos on this, but it's during my work time. Well, the good news is those videos will be up forever once Wednesday and Friday pop off. All right, everyone. As always, keep developing the right mindset. I'll see you next time. Bye. Yeah.